right. Well, good morning. Welcome to my bedroom. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Feels good to be here.
I know.
I mean, I've been here before, but...
Right. I was like, my bedroom, it's a very exclusive place. Only about half of Anchorage has been in here. So.
It's actually on like all those tourism brochures.
Right.
It's like one of the best stops in Anchorage.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So first of all, to the audience, to the listeners, welcome back to the Frozen Fruit Podcast. It's been about a 2-year hiatus. I had the intention back in 2020 during Rona I was like, I'm going to do an episode every month. I only did 2, and then life like took over. I had like a breakup. I like quit my job. I moved cities. 2020 was like a whole thing. We don't need to get into 2020.
You did so much in 2020.
Girl, I did a lot. I did the most.
I remember like everyone talking about hating COVID so much, and I mean, maybe this is like not a great take, or not popular take or whatever, but I had a great time.
You did. You're like just doing crafts and stuff.
I crafted a lot, of course, and there was the whole like boom of like drag online.
Totally, yeah.
So like we became fucking music video editors, and like we became artists in a different space. So I got to make a lot of really cool videos, and like being part of just different kinds of shows. But mostly like I got to actually stay home with my mom and my dad, and we got to like actually connect and like get to know each other on a different level that we didn't know each other before.
An adult level.
Totally. And like I was in a pool. I bought them a pool. I said, we're buying a fucking pool. It's hot as fucking California. I'm stuck here. I'm not going to Alaska this time because we can't. So let's just not die. And we spent the whole summer like,
let's just not die.
Well, that part. So let's just stay here. And we got popsicles, and we were just always eating popsicles with the dogs on floaties in the pool. It was like a vacation for like a while. And then I did Dragula, so that was kind of fun too. But for the most part, I just got to like...
Resurrection.
I got to chill out with my parents, and that was kind of fun.
I think like my Rona experience, I was a government employee at the time. She was working for the state. And so I was like, what do you call it? Let me make sure this is still recording. Okay, yeah, we're good. So I was working for the government at the time. I was a state employee, and I was like an essential worker. So I never got a day off.
She was essential.
I was essential. I was in the office every day. I never even worked from home. I was working for the legislature. So like, it was, oh, madam, get comfortable.
Oh my God, my puss is been
I was like adjusting myself.
I'm flashing the camera.
I was like, I have like a memory foam like topper in here, so we're just like sinking into the bed.
Is that what they call you?
Yeah. Memory foam topper. So that was my COVID experience, was like I was just like working nonstop, and I'm very lucky that I had a job, and an income. But I also remember that like I was low on the or what do you call it? In terms of like the tiers of state employees, I was like a newer one. I was on the lower side. So some of my friends that were collecting the unemployment were making like more money staying at home than me.
Oh, totally.
And I was like, bitch, this kind of blows. I was like, why can't I just get fired so I can collect like unemployment?
And there was also that whole thing where like only certain people were actually getting it, where it was like taking some people really hard, like long to get it. And I remember my dad was one of those people because he had to stop working. So he was like, well, then let's do this whole fucking check thing or whatever. He was unable to get one for so long because of like complications with whatever the situation was. And eventually he got everything at once. That was kind of like, it worked out. But it was so hard for him at the beginning. Yeah. He was like, how are we supposed to survive? Like, how are we supposed to get shit done? There's so much going on and so many things happening. And I was like, take me. Yeah. So I was like, let's get groceries.
That's real. That was actually, well, okay, we're getting on like a tangent about this. This is the thing about us, is that we can talk about anything
for hours.
But what I was doing actually for my state job was I was processing people's unemployment stuff and like helping them and getting them their money. Oh shit, my TV turned off. Let me turn that shit back on just so we have a little bit more light. Let there be light.
You were getting the peeps or coin.
I know, right? Which felt good actually. That part of the job, that was actually one of the, I think, the better things that I did while working in politics, was like actually that felt like I was actually really helping people, which felt good. But so for the audience, I'm Lamia Monroe. This is Francesca Dume, Frankie Doom, the celebrity global superstar.
Oh my God.
I love making fun of you. Season 1 of Dragula Top 3, and then Dragula Resurrection.
And also a lot of bedrooms and
hotel rooms.
Then
the Captain Hook.
Girl, they know me. I'm also a stop on the tourist.
The brochure.
Don't get doomed, bitch. Ew.
Honestly. So we first became friends when you moved to Alaska. You'd been coming up for years to work the summers out in Cooper Landing for the Princess Lodge. Was it always the Princess?
Since 2016. I worked in Copper Center first, up in Glen Ellen, and I did that for 4 years, and then I moved down to Kenai, and I did the Kenai Princess Lodge in Cooper Landing for...
Oh, damn, Glen Ellen. I didn't realize you had been Glen Ellen, too.
Yeah, that was fucking far.
Girl, I bet...
That was my first Alaska experience, and I went straight there, so I had no idea there was even, like, Anchorage. Like, I saw it in passing, but I thought that was Alaska. Like,
honestly, I feel like...
the middle of nowhere, and there was no one around, there was a dry town, and there was, like, one ice cream shop and a Radio Shack that sells pizza.
Yeah. Did you ever go to Chitna?
Fuck yeah, I did. I went swimming there naked.
Okay, so Chitna, that's where I would go every summer to go fishing, like dip netting. Not every summer. That was like when I was a older teenager, because it's pretty. The river is really
stunning
there.
Yeah, it's stunning,
but it's dangerous.
Yeah,
you fall in that shit.
Oh my god. Okay, so I didn't know this. I immediately jumped in the water.
It's so dangerous.
I'm a crazy person, and literally my HR was like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like, you can die. Like,
you literally
you will
die.
Lose your balance, fall in, get hit by a rock, and you'll like be in Cordova, in pieces by the time you get there."
Girl,
and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm already in the water,
like,
so
no life jacket."
I'm not gonna lie, I did it like 10 times, and I took nudes in there.
She lives life on the edge.
You know what?
I mean,
if I died like that, it's fine.
Honestly, at least you were getting some.
How I came in naked.
That's how you go out. Like, okay, Cooper Landing. I'm sure Cooper Landing, as a queer person, just in general, was more fun though.
Oh my god, yeah.
There, yeah. But you always had friends with you though, so that probably made Glen Ellen tolerable, right?
Yeah. I mean, I met some really cool people there, but my first summer there was actually a rude awakening to be with my partner at the time. And we had to share rooms. I didn't know that you could tell them we're a couple and you could like share rooms with your person. I just was told you come, you get roommates, whatever. So we had a third roommate, and he was straight, and he was like, "Oh, I don't mind that you guys are like that. It's totally cool." I was like, "Well, I'm not asking for your fucking permission,
girl."
But then he would tell people, I saw them holding hands. Oh my god! And he was like freaking out about it,
ma'am,
and being really uncomfortable. Yet he was bringing random girls into the room and like pounding them in his bedroom. So I was just like, no.
You guys had separate bedrooms.
Well, like, no, we had separate beds, but he was like in the same room. So
room.
Who would come in and there's a girl there, and I'm like, well, then no. If I can't hold my boyfriend's hand because it makes you feel weird, I'm not gonna have you fucking some bitch in my bedroom.
She's just spread eagle.
So we got him removed. But
work.
Eventually, my mission was to make it tolerable and make it better. And from the beginning of my career there till now, I've helped, I believe, in a lot of ways.
The doors you've opened.
of bringing more queer people to come and to want to do this, and bringing more people to be comfortable. And just the world in general is becoming more queer. Yeah. So we now have Kendra Onyx, who comes and works with me. We have so many other queer people that work with me. The lodge itself is now run by women, and they're all fucking fag hags, girls. So, like, everyone is just super chill, super open, super loving. It's such an amazing place. I'm kind of sad that I kind of took the break this summer to, like, not work there, because it's one of the most beautiful, most magical places. Even the community itself.
Well, and this is a good way to segue into, so you're not going back out and doing tourism. You're staying here in Anchorage. Mm-hmm. And do you want to tell the people what you're doing now?
Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't even posted about it. I know. On Facebook, but I haven't.
Exclusive
content. I actually applied to work with 4A's. So I will be doing outreach. I will be helping in the Matsu office starting the 29th. And I will be getting people tested, getting people signed up for prep. And
I love it. So for anybody,
something helpful for the community,
right? As I talk over you, I'm such a good host.
It's the ADHD you both do.
Well, honestly, that's why we're friends, is that we can just like scream over each other, and nobody gets offended. Like, it's a thing. Like, not everybody is like that compatible with people who have super ADHD, because, you know, like, I'm sure you've dealt with where people are, you like steamroll people in conversations or like whatever. And it's like, I don't mean to, it's just my brain. I need to get it out. Yeah. And if I don't speak it, I'm going to forget. And also I was
going to leave me for sure.
Well, and I was reading something recently about, also part of what makes conversing as neurodivergent ADHD people hard with non-ADHD people is that our brains work so fast that if it's especially if it's a person we know, we can figure out what they're saying before they finish saying it. Mm-hmm. And we're like, our speed is just, I'm snapping my fingers a lot.
That's so funny you say that, because I do that a lot.
I know.
I would always finish people's sentences or finish their thoughts, and they go, oh, well, I was gonna. Yeah. Okay. And they get mad about it. Yeah. Or they think that like you're not interested
trying
in
to be like rude, which is not the case.
I just can't help it.
Right. And but that's why I feel like oh my god. I also, okay, full disclosure, I have a fucking lisp, and getting lip injections did not make me better. I've always had a speech impediment, and honestly, the last time I got my lips done, because, well, I've only got them done maybe like
just the one,
just like just the one,
a light plumping,
yeah, right? Just a tasteful event, just half a syringe.
No, we were both not cut off,
right? We'll get to that, but the last time I got them done, first time, I literally remember, like, for not even after the numbness wore off, I was like getting used to talking with my new lips, and I was like, oh my god, I like made myself sound, one, even more gay, and then like one, like, more, I almost said illiterate, but more incoherent, because I already have you've got the ADHD going, I got the lisp going, speech impediment, and then also dyslexia. So I'm just honestly just fucked, basically. But it is what it is. We were talking about something, and then we got off topic. 4A's. So for anybody that doesn't know, 4A's is the Alaskan AIDS Assistance Association. I'm on the board. I've been on the board for, I think, about 2 years. I think January was 2 years, so a little over 2 years, because it is March 2024 when we're recording this. I have no idea. No, oh my god, it's April.
It's April.
It's April.
Somebody asked me that yesterday, and I said, and I had to think about what month it was.
Girl.
For a while. I was stumped.
It's April.
It's April.
Damn. But, so that's what, like, a little under 2.5 years, I guess. But so 4A's provide services to people, Alaskans living with HIV. So like the actual client services, case management for people with HIV. And then also what's amazing is that 4A's provides education on prevention. They run a needle exchange program for people that use drugs to safely use drugs. Harm reduction is like a big thing. I've learned so much about harm reduction through 4A's, which is really, well, we can get into harm reduction maybe later at a different point, but it's such a beautiful philosophy to apply to like so many other areas of life. But long story short, 4A's does a lot of good work, and they have just started a new program, which is helping people sign up for PrEP through Mister, which is all like online and through the mail. And our good friend, Miss Penny Dragful, is point person. Yeah, penetration. Pendulum, she's the person doing that. So I love how we just have all these drag queens working for 4A's.
I know.
It's kind of like, and of course Gigi Monroe worked for 4A's.
So we are. You've always been that.
Right.
The drag queens have always been the community's like backbone that like helps people.
The pillars. The pillars. Well, and I think that's especially in like a place like Alaska where we don't have like, well, actually right now we have more LGBTQ plus queer, I should say queer. I like queer as a term just because it encompasses everybody.
Everyone.
With the alphabet, you always leave someone out, and then it's like, okay, no, that's not the intention. So queer, we'll say queer. There's more queer lawmakers than we ever have had before, which is great. But given that we don't have like, overall the state still has a lot of homophobia, still has a lot of like Trumpers, a lot of like Republicans and other stuff. Given that, I feel like the drag performers kind of by proxy become these like public figures, or fill that sort of void of like community. Like we have to be advocates. There's not really another
and
choice.
It's also a double-edged sword, because you realize you are the advocates, you are pushing things, you're all helping, but you're also the first people they're gonna attack.
Right, exactly.
Because they're gonna go for our fucking jugulars.
It's a constant like battle sort of that I have of like there's the obligation that we just like we have to do this because we must and it's the right thing to do, and then also you have to protect your energy a little bit at the same time, and like I can't react to everything, and I can't be involved with everything, because also I have to take care of my own mental health, I have to manage my own sobriety, I have to manage my own crazy.
Also, end of the day, this is creativity. This is like our joy. This is our life.
That's the thing too.
It has to be enjoyable. It has to be a release. It has to be art. It has to be fun. Because if it's not, then why are you doing it?
I even like at my own shows when hosting like on the mic, shout out to Willowa Social. I've had a drag brunch there for over 2 years now, which has been amazing. Great people, Emily, Danny, all the whole crew there. But at that show, I used to like get on, not a soapbox because it's important, but I would like talk a little bit about like, you need to go out and like vote, and like you need to do this and do that. And I've kind of pulled, maybe it's, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I've pulled away a little bit from doing that, because just what I've kind of realized, especially as that show has existed, the longevity and the reoccurring audiences, I'm like, these aren't the people that need to hear that message. Like these people are people that are showing up and they're supporting us and they're voting. And like, especially that show is like not even monthly anymore. We're doing more like quarterly basis. So it's this built up clientele and audience that come, and most of them are repeat customers versus like at Mad Myrna's, for example, where we're both cast members, you have a lot of people every weekend where it's their first time going to a drag show, and a lot of straight people, and a lot of like tourists and other stuff. So I think that, like, I guess what I'm saying is like, there's different audiences and different messages and just time and place for everything. At the Myrna show, our host, Hank Van Dickerson, always plugs voting and fighting for trans rights and queer youth and trans youth, which I think is really important because that audience is such a changing audience of people. But like for my own show, I've just realized like, okay, if I'm like looking out into the audience and like
I know
all of you, that I'm like,
we're good.
that I'm like, okay, I don't need to like preach, because, and I guess the point being that I had with that is that what you were saying really resonated with me, that this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be our joy. We have to protect that energy. Oh yes, ma'am. Get your little sip of water going. Stay lubricated. Sorry.
I gotta get this throat moist.
Right. Point being, we have to protect our joy. And so it's okay to just have an event where it's like, this is fun and this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't, and I feel like that's also what's really cool about your new show at Coots, is that it's like a very like queer centered show.
I'm actually super happy that it happened.
Yeah.
The first one was it Neon Beach Party? Yeah. It was kind of like a we're doing this now, it's happening, let's get a theme together, let's make it happen. And I wanted it to kind of, I come from Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is just very queer, and our spaces are ours, and it's just sexual, it's beautiful,
Right.
It's fun, it's just freedom basically to just express yourself. And I like that. And I like that, you know, there's time and place, like you said, for everything. And what I like about our queer community is that there is Myrna's where straight people go, and a lot of people can feel comfortable, and there's a lot of PG-13 performances there, and PG stuff there, and then brunch is brunch. You're not gonna go take off your clothes at brunch, you know what I mean?
Like,
but
it's very much a shimmy shake and
I wanted my show to be a little more queer centric, a little more free, a little more punk, a little more dark, and more adult. I want people to go somewhere where you could just be gay, take off your clothes, take off your shirt, dance shirtless, have fun, like
show them titties,
be amongst your friends, you know, meet people. I like that. So it was cool the first time to see people come out and they had a good time. And then this time it was like almost twice the amount of people, if not more so. And they were all people that I know, people I don't even see out. Like queer people that I don't see out at other places. And they were telling me this is the queer party. This is the place to be. It's really cool to have a place where gay people can be gay. Yeah. So, and I was happy people came dressed up. I keep telling people, come dressed up. Be whatever you want to be. And people came like clowns. I had the audience members strip with us. Yeah. So that was super fun.
I'm sad I missed it. I'm coming to the next one for sure.
It was a super fucking awesome blast. And it was super, super queer. So I'm glad that I'm creating this little magical bubble of gayness.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to. But like, I'm just thinking, like, Anchorage has come a long way, honestly. I first moved down here in 2016. Despite my youthful age, I've been doing drag a minute now. It's like I'm going on like 7 or 8 years, which kind of surprises people sometimes. But back in 2016, when I first moved to Anchorage, you really had, like, you had Myrna's. There was a couple different like annual events that happened at Willowa. You know, to credit where credit is due, there was still stuff going on at Coots and Van's Dive Bar at the time. But overall, in terms of like a regular basis, there was really like a lot less. Like now we have regular drag shows at so many different venues in town. And I especially like huge shout out to like Kendra and Mercedes for like the all ages stuff and having, and they do also not all ages stuff, which is great too. And they've really like
all the BIPOC stuff.
Right, exactly.
I think it's so fucking cool to like have places that cater to certain communities and to, I guess, how do I say, like, include everyone.
Yeah. And like, if you told me back in 2016 that Anchorage, Alaska would have that, I would have been like, whoa, I would have been surprised. I would have been excited, you know, because it seemed so far away.
When I first came here, it was 2016. I went to Glen Ellen. I will say it was a culture shock because where I come from, I did experience negativity for being queer growing up as a kid. And I did experience a lot of like different kinds of issues. But for the most part, California in general and Los Angeles, West Hollywood, we have our own city. Like, so I've just always been, this is who I am. I'm okay with it. If you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I remember my first day working, I had guests that came in and they said, oh, what are you? And I was like, excuse me? And they were like, well, where do you come from? And I said, Los Angeles. And I said, oh, we don't go for that here.
Were they locals or were
they were locals.
Gross.
And I was like, what part offends you? The brown or the gay? Like what bothers you more? The fear that I'm homosexual.
Very that.
And
both. Probably both.
But it was so like weird to get that right off the bat. And then I witnessed people from Texas that came in and they were like, they kept speaking to me in Spanish, but like really broken, weird Spanish. And I kept telling them like, I can speak English perfectly fine. Can I get your order? And they were like, I've been to Mexico. And I was like, cool. I'm glad you've been there. I've been there once.
Congrats on your vacation.
On your cruise.
Right.
Okay. And then I was like, where are you guys from? And they're like, Texas. And I was like, okay. So and the wife was kind of like, dude, stop talking to him in Spanish. Like, stop. You know?
Yeah.
You're
embarrassing us.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny to do the same in return. So I went to get their steaks and I came back and I was like, here's y'all steaks. And I talked really like, I guess stereotypically Texan to them. And he like did not enjoy that.
See, they can.
But I mean, that's how you sound to me. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
They can. It's funny. They cannot take it, mama.
So back then, I wouldn't think that there would be a gay pride or that there would be even gay people here. There was even like anything happening. I used to go to Valdez a lot. I used to go to different places a lot to explore. I explored a lot of Alaska actually my first couple summers.
And now we have all those small town prides.
Yeah, all these little towns are having prides now, having one float. I heard about Talkeetna at one point had like a little bus with like people wearing wigs. Like,
oh my god,
it was their pride. I think that's so fucking cool. Like,
yeah, like 2017 or 2018, Talkeetna had a pride. It was someone was organizing out there for a couple of years, and I think it stopped or they haven't done it for a little while. But I remember that's when I met Scarlett Crypt, and I had already met Ivana, I think, at that point. But like, it was really cool because they had a little pride out in Talkeetna. We did like a little parade, and I remember, as we did the parade around town, walking around town, there's a lot of different little restaurants and stuff with all these tourists. And some of these mostly older white people, they were like, oh, we didn't come here for this. Like, they were like, they were not ready for like they were not ready for the backwoods tea. And like, that's also something that I think is, so I'm from Alaska. I'm Alaskan. I'm a tribal member. Like, on my mom's side, I'm indigenous. And it's something that is like, given that I'm white and stuff, like I felt like pretty disconnected from that for a long time. And then it was more recently with what I do in my like career and my work with public policy and trying to like improve things in the state is very like indigenous centered and stuff. And through that, I kind of realized like, oh, like this is actually very important to me, and it's a value system that I like subscribe to. But my point being with bringing that up is because I'm gay as fuck, because I am the way I am, because I talk the way I talk, because the way I dress, people assume I'm not fucking from here.
Mm-hmm.
People that are not fucking from here. And especially in Anchorage, because Anchorage is very much a town that's fairly transient, which we'll get to that word later. But there's lots of people, military, oil companies, other things that come up for a few different years. They're passing through, mama. It's a revolving door up in here. And just like this bedroom. But point being, like how fucking dare you? Like, you are not from here. You come here and you tell me that I don't belong.
Right.
Fuck you, bitch. I've been gay. I was literally raised in a cabin out in the woods. Well, we moved to town later in my childhood, but like OG Lamia comes from very small town, cabin in the woods, Alaska. My parents were dog mushers. Like, it doesn't really get much more Alaskan right? than that. And I still turned out gay as fuck. So you tell me.
It's who you are, girl.
Right. Is it nature versus nurture?
I think you're born that way.
Right.
But it's just such a cool, like, in retrospect, looking back and being kind of like, what the fuck? Where am I? What is happening here? And then to now, or in the last couple of years, just like seeing how things have changed so fucking much. I remember I came with my mom. My mom came to visit, and there was like rainbow flags everywhere in downtown Anchorage. And she was like, "That's so cool." And actually saw two men holding hands in like lumberjack outfits. And I was like, "Lumbersexuals." And we were like living. My mom was all, "This is so nice." And
also, side note, I love your mom. She's everything.
She's gonna be here soon. So I'm excited. But so then we went to like this little gift shop, and I don't remember the conversation exactly, but the lady had mentioned, "Oh, yeah, this is our little blue pocket." And she kind of mentioned how, yes, this is a red state. Yes, there's a lot of like hatred here and a lot of like different views. She said, but we have little purple and blue pockets.
Totally.
And I thought that was so important. And then working in Cooper Landing, and we just did a 4th of July parade there, and I made a pride float because I was like, well, I mean, if you want me to be part of this, I want to be part of it.
Right.
I ended up telling everyone, then everyone feel comfortable, rep what you're going to rep, let's do it. Everyone dropped out on me, girl. Like the day of, they all chose to go other places and do other things on the days off. They gave me their signs that were all like really intense, actually.
So you were the pride parade.
And I was like, wow, cool. You're all ditching me. So I said, well, I guess I'm doing this. So
No,
I was working earlier that day, so I couldn't. But I was out there in my rainbow shoes, and I was out there being rainbow as fuck, and I was like carrying my rainbow sign. And we went through all the tourists, and I was very afraid. Like, I work here, I'm the manager. You guys are gonna like hate me. It's gonna be weird. My boss was just like, just please don't be like inflammatory. Like, just don't like push buttons, which is fine. I get it. It's a business overall. You can't like make people uncomfortable.
Right.
But when we were done, they all clapped, and it was such a weird like world that was like things are changing.
Yeah.
And they were just like, that was so nice of you to include. I think I said like freedom or justice for all is for all.
Yeah.
That was my message. Like, it was basically like everything that you say in the Constitution, everything that we say in everything, like is for everyone. Everyone is included. So that includes queer people.
Yeah.
And every fucking race. So they all clapped, and they were all super nice. And I met people after, and they said that we needed more of this. Thank you for bringing this to this community. And it felt really good to like push that a little forward. And now we have Gay Pride in Seward, where they let you go on the cruise thing.
Right.
That's so cool.
We literally, like, this last year, where did I go? I went to Sitka, and Skagway. I've gone to Skagway now like 3 or 4 years in a row for Pride. I'm gonna go again at the end of May, and seeing it like build up there, it's so cool. And like, even when I just think about here in Anchorage, like when I went to UAA for college, there had been like different, what do you call it, like gay straight alliances or different stuff at different points, but it was defunct when I was there. And I started like a drag club and was trying to like make it happen, organized a few shows on campus, and I got like so much. It was a really uphill battle. Like, it was a lot of homophobia. It was a lot of like pushback. And I remember like one of the drag shows, the first drag show I organized was a political one. It was about Proposition 1, which was a bathroom ban against trans people they were trying to do. And we threw this like giant ass show. I had Hank Van Dickerson, Golden Delicious, Ivana, Natasha Banks, Dr. Feelgood, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. I think Robin Sparkles even. I'm forgetting some people, but we threw out this like big ass show, and it had like hundreds of people come to it. But UAA literally sent 5 cops. And like, my thing is that it's, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit smarter, but like, what's funny is like in my youth, I was just very like brazenly, just delusionally brave. And so I was like, oh, I'm doing a drag show and there's 5 cops here. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it's fine. And
when you get older, things hurt.
Right. And like, and I was just like fully comfortable with like being like in the media and stuff, like fighting for these trans rights and stuff, because literally I was just like, in my head it's very simple. It's like, this is the right thing to do.
Well, it is very simple,
right? And it's like, it's like this is the right thing to do, and I want to do drag, so we'll do both.
I think overall it's free to be kind.
Exactly.
Like, it's free to be kind. It's free to treat people with respect. It's free to be a nice person. So the fact that so many people choose to be shit, is insane to me.
And like
it's so much more trouble. It's so much more work to be an asshole.
Well, and this is like something that we joke about, is we're like, maybe we're just narcissistic, but it's like, I do not care what other people do with their lives.
No.
Like, we're not concerned about what you're doing in church. Don't worry about what we're doing at the gay bar.
Right.
Well, and partially that could be, it's just so boring to be straight.
It really is.
I don't know. Like,
there's too many rules.
There's like, I don't know.
There's just too many, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do this. I think the whole having to have kids to be successful,
right,
or to be deemed like an adult, is kind of weird. Like, maybe you don't want to. Maybe you want to travel the world and see the world. You don't have to have children. And then having them so young, a lot of people, do that, and then they have to work a million jobs, and they have to sit at home all day, and just no one's happy. I just feel like, do you, whether gay, straight, whatever the hell you are in between,
right?
Just do you.
I just remember.
Don't let anyone influence your choices.
I just remembered that I was gonna put a light up on the camera so we could be seen better, but honestly, it's probably fine. We'll just leave it. We'll just be in the dark for this episode.
Ambiance.
But
Southern Bailey's area.
Right. What I was gonna say though is like that experience at UAA was also my first time encountering like white feminists, or like people that are like progressive on certain issues but not on others, where um we had like an event on campus that was like Take Back the Night. It was like a feminist thing about what am I trying to say? It's an anti-sexual assault thing. And so I went in drag and I had a sign that was like drag queens against sexual assault, because I'm like, okay, here I'm riding with my girls, like fuck the rapists and everything. And there was like a lot of women there that were like uncomfortable by that present, by like me being part of that, or just uncomfortable with the drag. And I was like, oh, okay, I assumed that we were like, in my mind, I've been talking about intersectionality, not that I'm like this amazing person, but like I've been exposed to and talked about intersectionality and how all these things tie together from like a pretty young age. I'm lucky to have parents that are just very open, and like the public school I went to in West Valley High School in Fairbanks was like very honestly, for lack of a better word, very woke, you know, and like we talked about these things. And so my understanding of these things was that like, okay, like what do you call it? Misogynist oppression is gay oppression. Gay oppression is misogyny. Like it's all, we're all in the same struggle. And then I realized, like looking around, I was like, oh, not everybody's on the same page here. Like I was like, oh, I'm not like totally welcome in this space. And that I think really just kind of speaks to just the way in which like the queer struggle is unique in certain ways. You know, it's like we're all like tied in this together. And so I mean, like, okay, so if that's what I'm feeling, like being a queer woman, like girl, being anybody with like a uterus and queer, like it's like,
Yeah.
it's so much shittier, and it's just
Also,
not, yeah.
It's weird how like, you know, we all stand up for like queer rights and we're very like, you know, gayness or whatever.
Right.
But a lot men are just misogynistic, like by nature.
Right.
And there's so many even gay men that are just so anti-women or are so misogynistic towards women, and it's just like we're all in this together, man.
Right.
How do you have people fight for you, or how do you feel okay asking for rights for you or advocating for yourself and others like you, but you can't see yourself in other people? You can't like see yourself in women. You can't like.
I think that's one thing that separates
crazy to me.
Like separates like drag queens from and of course obviously drag is open to people of all different gender identities, but in terms of like gay men, there's the gay men that like don't like women or like ew gross girls in gay bars or whatever, but like for us it's like we are obsessed with femininity. We're obsessed with it all. Like we're like yes, women, like queen, like that's, I think, our energy.
One of the smartest people that I've ever met in my life, and they impacted me a lot, was Hollow Eve. And even before they were on Dragula, they booked me and we met and we hung out, and I've known them for a long time and I wanted to meet them, and we just immediately vibed so quickly. But I remember it was the comment of fish.
Ooh, yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
I think I said it actually in the car. I mentioned that word and she said, oh, I don't like that word. Yeah. I was like, oh, why? Explain it to me. And she literally like, well, they did, sorry, calling her she.
Yeah.
They explained it to me completely as to why it bothers them and why it's not okay and why they feel the way they do. And it completely made sense.
Yeah.
It just like, oh, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
But that took me to a place of, okay, how do I make this make sense to me? Because I'm not a woman. I don't have a vagina. I don't get made fun of in that sense, in that way, or it doesn't, whatever. But as me being male and being born Hispanic, where a lot of us are uncut. I have a foreskin. And growing up, it was very like, oh, I don't like guys that are uncut. That's gross. It's filthy. And you're like, oh, okay, which is not even true. But trust me, I've had plenty of cut men that smell like shrimp and are not great. So it's not a foreskin issue. It's a man issue.
Of uncut men, you said?
Yeah, no, I've had men that are circumcised that smell like shit. So it's like not even an uncut situation.
And then I got them confused for a minute. Cut men that smell bad.
So it's not a fucking foreskin issue. It's just hygiene in general. You know, hygiene isn't worse. You need to dash, you need to wash.
You need to freshen it.
You need to freshen the fuck up. That's what you need to do. You need to be aware of your shit. And now they got all those creams that make everything smell cute. So don't even act like you can't smell right.
Watch a couple Jasmine Masters videos and get your hygiene together.
So I kind of felt it there. I was like, you know what? That makes total sense. And I kind of push it here where people used to make fun of me and people used to put me down or even do comments about that in front of me, and it made me feel uncomfortable.
Well,
so I was like, okay, put it togetger. It makes sense. Not doing that ever again. Let's not use that word ever again.
And so for somebody that doesn't know what we're talking about, so the term fish, do you want to explain it since you brought it up? Because actually I learned about this also from watching Dragulous. Was it season 2 or season 3? Season 3. and Halloween talking about it and posting about it on social media while that aired. And I even remember like at the time I posted like, I didn't know this, but I learned something and I'm not using
So
that
many
term
people,
anymore.
so many people said that and gave her credit for teaching them something, and that's just who she is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I keep saying she, but it's they. Sorry, I call everyone a she because we're all sisters here. But
like, we should say that for drag queens, like, and drag performers, oh god, I trip over that word. We colloquially. Oh,
I can't say that word, girl.
It's really okay, but this is coming out. But we use the term she for everybody,
everyone.
Like, and I think that speaks to the way that we just kind of idolize femininity and stuff. But the way that drag queens use the term she is actually pretty non-gendered, and I know that might be confusing to some people. But like when we talk about Hank Van Dickerson, we're like, oh, she, girl. When
I do.
When we talk about our non-binary drag siblings, like we use the term she. We just fucking call everybody she.
And even with me, like when someone says, "What pronouns do you use?" and I think I've asked Hollow this too, actually. And we had this conversation before amongst us and Krusty, where she said, I don't really care as long as you, whatever it is, it's with respect.
Right.
So if you're gonna call me she, he, whatever, they, anything, I don't really care as long as you respect me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see it too. I feel the same way. I just call everyone a she. But
and I'm very much though like pronouns are like so important. And like when someone tells me their pronoun, I'm like, okay, yes. And
yeah, if you let me know, I will definitely adjust.
Well, and that's what's so funny with like conservatives, or not even conservatives, but just older asshole gay people, or even younger asshole gay people that are like, oh, do you want me to like call you a unicorn? I'm like, bitch, if someone tells me to call them a unicorn, I will call them a fucking unicorn. Well, what is it?
I am wearing a horn, right? And I am glittery, so yes, please do so. Like, what the fuck?
And like if you want to identify whatever you want to identify as, it's like I said, I'm narcissistic. I don't care about other people, so I will just call you what you want to be called, and it's as simple as that. Because it's not about whether or not you agree with it. It's just about basic respect.
See, but okay, my thing is, and this goes for like homophobia. When we were kids, and I was a queer kid to you, you called me a she. You called me a sissy.
Yes.
You called me any feminine name in the book.
A
fagit. Because that was what you thought I should be called.
Absolutely.
Because it's a slur. Now that I'm telling you, no, call me a she. Now you're like, wait, I can't.
You just
I simply cannot. That makes sense.
You literally just unlocked some core memories for me, because I had long hair, and you know she was a sister when she was younger, and I got all the time like, are you a boy or a girl? Like, you act like a girl, your voice is like a girl, blah 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 blah. That was until I hit my growth.
I was gonna say, when did this happen?
That was until I'm Lamia, Monroe. You know I'm a guy, right? That was until my voice dropped, but like exactly, like it's you know how to play the pronoun game when you're making fun of us,
right?
But then when we want to.
So that by default makes it bullshit.
Right.
That whole argument of I just can't, it does not make sense, I don't get it, it's bullshit. It's just hatred, it's just bullshit. Because you were calling me a she and a sissy and a girl my whole fucking life.
And you don't.
And now that I ask you to do it, now you can't. You can't fathom it. It makes no sense. Fuck off.
Which is like so for pronouns, like, okay, controversial opinion. I don't think they is the solution for everything, because, for example, for some trans people I know, their identity is very important to them as that binary identity of like, I'm a trans man or I'm a trans woman. It's she, her, it is he, him. That's like their very solid identity. So I don't think they is the solution to everything. But if you're a dick and you're a conservative or whatever, bitch, I'm gonna call you they just to piss you off.
Just to make you angry.
Just to piss you off.
Well, see, also another thing, and this is totally funny because it's gonna come off as a joke, totally, but it's true to me. I work around a lot of tourism and a lot of people and a lot of older folk, and at some point, older ladies cut all their hair off,
right,
and wear little Han Solo jackets, and look like little old men. So like what I see are little gay couples walking all over the place. Two little lesbian couples, two little gay men walking around. You can't tell what anything is anymore at this point because you're both little old like Q-tips walking around and look the same. So you cannot handle transgenderism. You don't get pronouns. You don't get femininity, masculinity. You just can't put these things together. They don't make sense to you. Yet you've literally transed out. You know what I mean? Like, you both look like little men. You've become something else. You're wearing pants. Like,
girl.
That's what I mean. Like, so you're wearing pants. You have short hair.
These older gentlemen.
You look like a man.
I'm just saying, some of these older gentlemen need to fucking wear a bra.
Girl, honestly. So I just think it's weird. It's weird to me that they don't understand it when, you know, dresses are for girls, pants are for boys, and then you hit 56, 60, and you're over here looking like a little Elton John.
Right.
Like, come on, little Elton John. Like, come on. little gay men running around. I don't know. Then by default, you should be able to dress that way. Go put on your fucking dress and your corset, lady. Grow your hair out.
Right.
You have to choose a gender. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's like the thing that all of the...
How come they can be non-binos and we can't?
Girl, all the homophobia and transphobia, it is ultimately misogyny, because it's like, okay, so if you're a masculine woman, or if you're a woman that doesn't wear makeup, regardless of your identity and like sexual orientation, now are people going to be looking you up and down if you're in the bathroom? If you have a fucking short haircut. Like, and that's actually the ironic thing about, well, okay, we could go on about this forever, but that's the ironic thing about their whole bullshit, is they actually are literally putting women at risk with their bullshit, because it's already happening. There's already lots of cases and news articles you can look up of women that don't look like, maybe don't have that stereotypical hourglass figure, don't have that fucking, like, we've created this fucking box that we put women in of what they're supposed to look like, and if you don't fit that, then you're the other, and you must be a fucking man or some bullshit, and then now
you're a monster.
Right. And also, like, yeah, it's just stupid. And then meanwhile, fucking, okay, you know what, I was just about to go off on a different tangent, but maybe we'll just table that. It's a very frustrating thing, and we're seeing it in Alaska. And actually, okay, to touch on something I did want to touch on, there's a fucking blogger in Alaska, the Alaska Watchman, and that dude, I'm gonna insert a picture of him for the video and maybe like in the notes of this podcast episode. But so anyways, point being, this dude has like literally authored probably like over 50 articles about drag queens.
I'm surprised I haven't made the cut.
I know.
I literally dressed like a slutty Satan, and when they were here, and I didn't even realize they were going to be here. I forgot I was wearing that, and when I walked up, they were like, "Do you want a pamphlet?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. I'm God's favorite." And I realized, oh my God, you're wearing horns. Your titties are out.
Right.
So I'm surprised I haven't made the coveted list.
So what I find funny about him, is that he has written so many different fucking articles about drag queens, and the articles are funny because they'll get like really specific. Like, he's like, so and so performed this song that's oftentimes played at the beginning of drag shows. I'm like, sis, you did your research.
How many times have you been here?
Right. I'm like, you cannot tell me that.
I'd be like, so you've tipped me. You're trying to tell me.
So okay, so this dude, check this dude out.
Imagine I know him.
Right. Okay. So he has this like fucking little bleached hair situation. We'll insert a photo for the audience, but he has a whole bleached hair little middle part situation.
He looks like Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys.
Literally, I'm sorry, but the call is coming from inside the house. The call is, they tell on themselves. They think that they are so... You cannot tell me that man is not a FAGGOT.
No, ma'am.
And what he wrote about me, he wrote this article. Me and De La Rosa, shout out to De La Rosa, one of my favorite drag siblings here in town. We went on Alaska Public Media to discuss like trans legislation or anti-trans legislation and just like queer stuff in general. And the two of us, we keep it very real. And we were like, the Republicans, the Christians, we were just like, they're obsessed with us. They need to knock that shit down. We're like the Republicans and the Christians are they just won't let it go, and they're after us. I don't remember exactly what we said, but we just said straight up, this problem is from the Republicans and the Christians. And he wrote this article about us that was really funny, where he was like, they bashed Republicans and Christians. We were like, yes, we did. Yes. And he was like, he said Lamia Monroe is a drag queen that regularly wears thong exposing lingerie and fake breasts for adult performances in Anchorage. And I was like, thank you. I was like, that is such a nice review.
You're all fake breasts. Excuse me, that theme is hidden.
Right. I was like, thong exposing lingerie.
Exposing.
I was like, you did your research, sir.
See, but half these men go to the fucking Bush Company.
That's what I'm saying. Well, and also, it was just so funny because, like, in his own article, he said for adult performances. Because
yes,
like,
that's what I did. Thank you.
You don't see me at drag story times. I don't do lots of all ages gigs. I do like some pride gigs and stuff, but
I just don't do kids. I'm not about it. You're never gonna see me there.
Like, for anybody who's out there that wants to book me and pay me money, if you have an all ages gig, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to consider it on like a case by case basis.
I don't have clothing, so right. I shouldn't. No, I do loteria, and I love doing loteria, and hosting was actually really fun.
It's just, generally speaking, I did not start drag to perform for kids.
No.
And we could get into all that drag story time stuff, but honestly, it's really taken up a lot of space in the discourse around drag, so I'd honestly rather just prefer not to today. But my point being, he's so obsessed with the dolls. He's so obsessed. And what he wrote for Dela, he was like, De La Rosa, who regularly erotic dances for children at like drag loteria. And
erotic dances.
Me and Dela, we laughed so hard because like, so for anybody that doesn't know who maybe isn't in the local Anchorage scene, Dela is an amazing singer who sings live.
The Songbird of the North.
The Songbird of the North. They have an amazing voice. They can sing opera. They can belt out and kill any song. But like, Dela was like, I'm probably like the least erotic drag performer. Like, Dela's like,
she twirls in
girls, and especially at Loteria, it is not. We're not doing all that.
No one's doing anything like that in Loteria,
right? Shout out to Brendan Bad in Soldado 2 years ago.
Okay, but to go back then, okay, let's go to that real quick.
Okay.
I do love that Anchorage is changing. I do love that Alaska is changing. I do love that so many places are embracing, and I think it's important for children and for younger people to see that.
Yeah.
Because how many kids are not killing themselves because of a simple rainbow flag hanging somewhere? Like, visibility is important. Inclusivity is important. Feeling that you matter is important. So having these little moments, even these little like blips of hope, can save so many lives. I think that's so important. But there are some fucking places that we just don't fucking belong.
That's my thing.
We don't need to be pushing ourselves all over the place and doing the most. And if Soldotna has chosen to be on that level and not want queer people there with the brewery, what was that one called? I forgot what it's called.
I think it was
right in the fucking entrance. And
is it Soldotna Brewing or what is it called?
No. It's something else. But it's right in the entrance of Soldotna. You'll know it. It's right there. It sucks anyways. The food is
I'm like
shit.
burping.
But it's probably because their food was horrible.
I'm just the thought of Soldotna made me burp.
Actually, and I work near there, and I used to go there for my groceries all the time, and I saw anti-vax running around screaming with signs, and I saw everything you can imagine that you don't want to be a part of happening there at different points. So, and I'm not saying all of the communities that like that, because it's not anywhere, but there's definitely a vibe there that does not want us there. And if we're not wanted there, don't go there, girl. Don't endanger yourself.
I think
for a couple of dollars. Like,
the tea is like this is on topic. I did the Haines, Alaska State Fair last year. We were Juno Drag, Gigi Monroe, and my Juno Drag fam. We headlined the State Fair. Headliners. And when it was announced that we were like the talent that was booked, there was like some controversy with homophobic people and like some local Christian groups that were upset about it. And long story short, it got blown out of proportion, and the community really came out. It was one of the biggest audiences I performed for. I was shooketh in Haines. There was like, I want to say like probably about 400 people there for our drag show, and a ton of kids. It was really cool. Lots of people's first time performing. And what was really cool was that there was people in the community who maybe don't even care about drag, maybe don't even aren't even trying to, it's whatever. But the controversy, they're like, we're going to have these people's backs. Like these people deserve to be here. And also it's a little funny because okay, Haines is like the land of like lesbians. I'm just saying, like the lesbians are up in Haines. And so, they were like, we don't know what this is, but we're going to go out and like support because we're good Democrats or we're good liberals or, just fucking good people. I mean, fuck that. Party doesn't matter in terms of that. But what am I trying? Okay, obviously party does matter. What I mean is just basic human decency. They were like, this group is under attack. We're going to show up for them. And that to me is very different. And we were all a little worried going into that. We were like, we don't totally know what we're walking into. But the way the community responded to that, and they already I think booked Juno Drag for next year. It's like, okay, the community wants this, clearly. The vocal minority that was homophobic, that's a minority of this community. But for other places, I'm smacking the microphone. I'm getting worked up. My hand, the hands are the wrist. If you can't see online, the wrist is fucking going.
Here
comes the hurricane, bitch. Ow. But the point being, I think that a community has to get to a certain level before it's really safe for us as like out of town performers to come in. Like, your community needs to like it needs to be coming from within the community before I really feel comfortable as somebody coming in from a more urban area, coming in from a bigger place. Because at the end of the day, like you said, I'm not trying to be anywhere I'm not wanted.
I'm trying to get shot up.
You need to like fucking
shot up for $1.
And I don't want other people to get. I don't want other people to experience violence because of
yes,
and
well, in general, it's like if the community wants us there, great. If there's a want and there's a need and there's an invite, let's do it. But if you're experiencing such a pushback where it's like weapons, death threats, bomb threats, why would you want to expose yourself to that?
It's a lot.
For one, and then expose the community and children and everyone else to being hurt. That's just fair. There's just no need for that.
And I think
these people are crazy. Like that's what it comes down to. These people are evil and they're crazy and they like to kill people. That's what they do. So and they justify it with bullshit. So they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Right. And I think that to all the allies out there, I think this is actually somewhere where allies get it a little twisted, because I get it. Y'all want to have our backs. We love you. We see you. But don't fight so hard for us to be where we're not wanted.
Right.
Fight for us to be where we are. Like, fight for us just in general. Fight for us to get equal housing opportunities, for us to get these protections. Fight for trans people to have the right to use the bathroom. But
also, Newark is an hour and 30 minutes away.
Right.
Make a drive.
Right. Like, and I know that I don't think they've had problems there, but
not at all.
But like, the tea is that, like, I'm sorry, but like, you fight really hard to have this drag show. And sure, there's a good cultural impact, you know, and it's a good thing. But at the end of the day, what rights did you gain from having this drag show?
I don't even know like all the details. I don't remember, because I know I looked it up and whatever. But
we're great at talking about things we don't know about.
well, I think ultimately I remember reading about it, and it was at one point there was, we don't want you to perform because whatever reason. So even doing that whole thing ended up being, well, don't perform. Just like stand there and like,
oh, the more recent one.
Yeah, so then what's the point? If we fought to have this moment, you guys pushed what you had to push, you got there, and they didn't even want you to do drag. They didn't want you to dress up. They didn't want you to perform because it was going to offend people. Then what's the whole point? That was just a waste of time.
And that's kind of my thing is like,
and more power to whoever was out there trying to do the damn. But I mean, right. Ultimately, you're just gonna endanger yourself. Your life is worth more than that. Don't endanger yourself.
And I think that also, like, coming from, like, as somebody that's grown up in Alaska, who's from like small town Alaska, I think, and honestly, contrary to popular belief, Fairbanks is a lot less homophobic than Anchorage people would like to make it out to be. I would go out on a limb and say I've experienced more homophobia here in Anchorage than I have in Fairbanks, because I think Fairbanks is a little bit more of that like libertarian sort of like, whatever you're doing, just not on my land is fine. And actually, Fairbanks has had multiple trans people on the city council and the borough assembly. But point being, I think that it gives me that perspective of just like, it's kind of, okay, we're getting onto a different thing. It's kind of a little bit of saviorism to be like, oh, us going here and doing this thing is going to like drastically like change everything. It's a little too Wong Fu-ish. It's a little like rose tinted glasses of like, girl, like at the end of the day, like we have to all be safe. We have to be safe. Literally, like you and I doing, like we have to be safe.
You said too Wong Fu.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Red and wild. That's your theme.
I'm not trying. It's not, my gay agenda is not to like go from small town to small town saving everybody. No. Like that, they need to get with the program before they want to book the doll. I'm just saying.
Save yourselves,
girl. Okay, so we just had an issue where I disconnected the microphone because I'm messy, but you were singing my praises, so do you want to go back and
start over? Maybe I'll make it better this time. Let me add more.
I was like fairly incoherent with what I said, so
honestly, I meant every word I said. I was saying that I think one of the things I admire most about you is that just you do so much for the community, and you do it without needing something in return. You do it because it's genuine. You do it because you care, and you put events together. I've worked with you on some things. That's why I like doing what I do with you, and not even thinking about it or questioning anything. When you tell me, are you in? I'm in. Because it's for the community. It's helping people get tested, helping people get safer, helping people in any way, shape, or form, helping people. And you raise a lot of money for stuff. And you don't slap your fucking face on a poster. You don't throw my face on there. Hi, I'm Frankie. I'm trying to get all this attention. It's just because you're a good person and you're helping people and you genuinely care. It isn't self-serving at all. It isn't trying to further yourself out in the community and people to like bow down to you or to like look at you in a certain way. You're just a good person. And I think that's something that turned me on about you immediately. And I mean, it's the truth. You're a great person, and you've helped me become a better person because I've wanted to be more involved, and I've wanted to be better and be part of the community. I moved here. When I moved here, I wanted to throw myself into it completely and just fall in love with everyone and meet everyone in this town and be a giant part of it. So I feel like little by little, I'm getting out of my shell of being afraid of everything and staying home because I'm from LA and we just like do our thing and
Right.
you know what I mean? It's just such a giant place, and we have our own stuff going on over there. But here, it's just a small town. Everyone knows each other. It's such a different vibe.
Yeah.
And I feel like we make a difference here.
Absolutely.
And I want to be a part of that. And I feel like all that full circle is now where I'm going to start working now, and it's changed me a lot. It's helped me a lot, and I have to give you praises for making me a better person.
Oh my God! Well, thank you. I love you so much. And like, to touch on that, like, I think that the way I approach things, I have to credit my parents for, just because of like the way they raised me. But the way I approach things is kind of like, rather than like talk about it, I'd rather just make it happen.
If you're gonna be about it, be about it.
we gotta get into that. But if you're gonna be about it, be about it. And so to me, like, I do care. Like, okay, so in terms of how I, like, for example, in the last year or so, we've had so much of the political narrative centered around drag story time. And like I've said, that's important and that is a really good thing for kids and other stuff. But to me, I'm like, okay, but HIV is skyrocketing in Alaska. And especially with the youth, because the kids today, even myself included, we didn't live through the AIDS crisis. So there's some gaps in terms of the knowledge about it, and that's why I talk about HIV so much. I talk about HIV so much that people actually like assume I'm positive, which shout out to all the positive people. There's nothing fucking wrong with me. There's so much gay people also that hold that stigma, which is just really unfortunate, but that's why we talk about it, to normalize it. HIV, it's not like a consequence for bad behavior. It's just a reality of being a sexually active person and living a full gay life, or a full anything life. HIV does not discriminate to just queer people. Actually, some of the most rising populations of people with HIV in the country are different populations of women, actually. So it's again misogyny. Again, it's something. But I guess my point being, there's these hot topics with drag, like drag story time or other different things, and I think those are all important. But then I'm also kind of, the way I operate is like, okay, what is the need in the community though around me? What can I actually effectively change? Me posting on social media about drag story time, that doesn't do shit.
No.
I'm not. In my younger years, I was much more outspoken on social media, and I still try to share things, and I talk about things when I think they're important, but also I find a lot of virtue signaling. I just don't have like the energy for it anymore. And if you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow Lamia Monroe on social media, wow, I sound like an asshole referring to myself in third person. But if you follow Lamia on social media, you're probably already down with the cause. So I'm preaching to the choir. So my point is that I would rather just use my platform in the way of like even different fundraisers I do and stuff. We talk about it a little bit, but we'll just do like a auction at the thing and make it a fun thing. So we're just trying to make it very accessible for people.
We're selling ourselves,
right? We're trying to make it. Yeah, we had an auction where we auctioned off dates with the cast,
we're prostituting ourselves for a cause.
And like the thing is like, you just make it very easy for people to donate. You just make it. You bring it to them. You don't like. I think that it's a mistake to like try to shame people into action. People aren't really motivated to act on shame. You want to just make it fun. And so it's like, come to our event, we're going to have a fucking party, and then we're going to donate a lot of money from that event to this.
They know people's lives.
Right.
You can't go around shaming people. You don't fucking know what they're going through, what connection they have to certain things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You mentioned virtue signaling, and that's something that like bothers me too, where I see people going off and just posting. I'm like, I'm glad that you're upset. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you're posting everything in the world. I'm under the sun, and I'm glad that you're doing all of that. It's important to get information out there.
Yeah.
And showing some fucked up videos do get people to pay attention.
Right.
But at some point, that's all you're doing.
Right. And I'm also
particularly doing anything more than who you're yelling at. So it makes you feel better about yourself because you're over here posting a million videos of people getting attacked or whatever you're doing. But you're not actually helping anyone. You're not actually doing. But then you're the first one to yell at people about it, and it's like, girl, have a seat.
And everybody's a critic, and there's always people that you could be doing more, whatever. bitch, but I'm doing something.
Right.
In like the last like I post when I donate big amounts of money, I usually post the receipts too. I have all the receipts of this money I've donated. And point being, just like, if you're gonna be about it, bitch. Like
a wise queen, Natasha Banks.
Natasha
that
Banks
is afloat.
Natasha Banks once said, if you're gonna be about it, be about it. And we say that all the time because it's very true. Shout out to Natasha. And like, just live your truth and stand in it. But I am like, virtue signaling, it turns me off. I'm wary of people that virtue signal but that I don't see show up in different ways. And it's also like, you know, I might not share everything on social media, but I donate my time serving on like a board. I donate my time doing other things. Like,
kind of where I'm at too. Like, I think recently, I think a couple of days ago, I just posted like a thing that said, I forgot what the meme was, but it was about like life in general or whatnot. And I just said that one of the most awesome things I've realized, and that's changed my life in the last couple of years, was learning to not give a fuck about social media.
Seriously.
Because before that, with my career and everything, it was very like, people used to use it against me. Like, well, you only have 20,000 followers. You don't have the 30 that I have. You don't have the 100,000 that I bought that I don't tell anyone about that I purchased. You know what I mean? So like,
and yet you're more booked.
Right, girl. I haven't stopped working. You haven't worked in a years, but that doesn't matter. The point is, you know, that number was such a.
She still gets flued out.
She gets flued. That was such a like looming thing over my head. This number that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? And then having to post everything every 3 seconds so that people could see you, stay engaged with you, and whatever. It just was so consuming and such a big deal and such an important part of like a lot of things that I did. And I would have to think about, you got to post at 9 a.m. You got to post at 5.
Right. Maximize the algorithm.
It was just so fucking much. And at one point, I think it was like such a blessing in disguise when I moved here and I got hacked and I lost everything that I worked for. Is it depressing? To a certain degree, yeah, it got to me. More so because I lost a lot of photos of my career, just in general, things that I did that I can't get back. And my dogs, all the years that we had them, there's like little videos that I've had of them that I don't have anywhere else. My bad for not even backing it up. And my relationship with Krusty, which we were together 14 years. So there's like 14 years of like a life together there too that I don't have. We have a lot backed up on our computers, but it was just, that's what I missed. It wasn't the fucking number. It wasn't the fans. It wasn't all of that.
And the contacts too.
Yeah, for sure. That was a big one too. A lot of the friends that I can't even remember who I fucking follow anymore because I was such good friends with them. But yeah, it was just, oddly enough, it was traumatic and tragic, but also like a freedom. And since then, I've learned to live, not post all the time, but live. So I'd rather be outside raising the money with you than posting about it on my page.
And I don't even really post about it that much.
No.
We just do it.
I just go and have fun. And I'm going and living and I'm going and experimenting.
Also, like,
I'm in the river versus taking a photo of the river.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm living my life.
It's also like, let the people who are there at the event share that moment. You know?
Yeah.
Let the people like enjoy that for what it is and seek that, like, get your, like, oh God, I'm sounding like I'm preaching now, but like I sound stupid, but like let that fill your cup rather than seeking the validation online. I think I've definitely made the mistake, not about advocacy or that type of stuff, but just in general, like I've absolutely been guilty to looking to social media for validation. And it is hard because as drag performers, we kind of have to use social media to...
It's an important tool, for sure.
It's absolutely important.
It could be an important tool. It doesn't have to be your whole fucking existence.
Exactly. And it's also like... I think because we have that insight of being drag performers, of having met influencers, of having met like famous people and different stuff, to where you realize like social media, it really ain't all that. Like it's not, you meet these people in person, you're like, oh. Like, and that's not, no shade to anybody.
I feel just, like it's for me.
No.
I feel like this is a strategic attack on my divinity.
I just mean like, don't let social media make you feel inferior to like other people.
Oh no.
Don't like I guess really.
That was the thing I wanted to point out when I moved here too. Like I remember I told you this immediately. I walked in the room and we all were in the room together getting ready. And are we all different? For the most part, yes. We all have our own versions of drag that we do. We all have our own inspirations. Right. But mine is just what it is. I like sparkly things.
Yeah.
I like to be me. I remember telling you, Penny, and everyone saying, we're all the same. Don't be weird. Like, we're all friends here. We're all together in this. I am just me.
Right.
Don't think that because I've been on TV, talk to me differently, or that I'm going to have some more insight on anything that you don't have, because we're the same.
Right.
It just means that I tried for something and it happened for me right now.
And it worked
Try
out
for it tomorrow and it'll work out for you.
It worked out for me too, because I didn't want. I hadn't seen you on TV.
No.
We were literally friends for a whole year before I'm such a good friend before I bothered to watch your show.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, just people treat you differently, or people think certain things because of social media. And I'm like, no. We're all here together. We're all sisters. I'm here to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm here to be with you in the show together. We're here to make memories together.
It has been interesting being your friend for now, like, over 2 years, of watching the way that other people interact with you sometimes, because of, like, a little bit of that celebrity factor. Like, well, in general, I mean, Anchorage is a little too small of a town to social climb, and I don't want to get on too big of a tangent, but in general, like, because I'm around other people that sometimes where I experience that, where you can see somebody like social climbing. Like, I'm thinking of like my drag mom, for example, somebody that people want opportunities from, and so I will see people. Shout out to Gigi Monroe, she's amazing, best drag queen ever. The only. But like from being in her proximity, I've seen people kiss her ass because they want something from her, and it's just interesting because I honestly don't remember what my point is. I just meant, from being your friend, I've like observed that, and it is like a weird sort of phenomenon where it's like.
Have you noticed my face though?
Absolutely.
When it's someone that's genuine and I actually feel something with, I smile and have a good time and I'm totally open.
Well, because you can.
But when someone does something weird and fake, I just like my face just changes and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh my god, thanks.
Yep, I smile and I say thank you and I run off. I'm like, I'm done. Right. I don't care. This is bullshit to me.
And it's like, like it's so different because
and you see me in my worst. You see me all sweaty and gross and like not wearing any makeup and I look at a fucking mess. There's nothing special here. I have no eyebrows. I'm a mole person. Okay.
I feel like drag queens and drag performers, more than anyone else, we know that all that glitters is not gold.
No.
So we have that like insight, and
all that glitters is like, prime. That shit is cheap and it comes from Amazon.
Period. And like I've had the opportunity of being able to travel and perform in different states and different venues and at like places that I did not really expect I'd ever go and stuff. And it's kind of like what's really cool about those opportunities, like for example, like going to like the Miss Gay America pageant and like other stuff, is like you get exposed to like a higher level and stuff, and you also realize like, oh, these are all just like people, and this is like, you know, it's like and bitch, with drag, everywhere you go, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna be fucking shoved into a broom closet.
Right.
You'll be lucky to get some drink tickets.
No matter who you are, no matter where you go.
Except shout out to Stable. Shout out to Steve and Stable. I feel like that was really like where our friendship became like a super bond, was
for sure.
I tagged along to a gig with Frankie in Providence, Rhode Island, and we were trash. We were drunk for like 4 days, and we were so messy.
But we didn't get lost.
No.
We found our way to everywhere we had to get to.
In both of us blacked out in a blizzard in Providence, Rhode Island. We made our way, like, I don't know, fucking 10 blocks back to the hotel. Actually, it wasn't that far, but I mean, bitch, I think it was from like the Dark Lady or something back to the hotel. It was a walk.
Where we pole danced?
Yeah. While blacked out drunk.
And didn't I pee in a sink?
Did I say blacked out drunk? No, literally.
I peed in a sink.
I had no idea what happened that night, and it wasn't until I like looked through my phone and I see this video. I literally had a video of me vomiting into a toilet and Frankie peeing behind me. And I was like, why did I think I was trying to FaceTime somebody and I took a video. I'm literally fucking in a gown. It was bad, but like actually that does lead into this amazing segue. I'm such a good facilitator.
Into sobriety?
I didn't want to talk about sobriety because we're both sober for different types of substances. I've been sober now I'm getting close to 2 years of sober from alcohol, which has honestly, that's been probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's really just like helped calm things down and given like some clarity of like, and I should say like, oh God, I can't even talk right now. Part of like my philosophy with sobriety is just acknowledging your own flaws and the humility of it. You know, you really, to be sober, you kind of just have to eat shit for a minute like you have to,
shit cheeks.
Right. Like, I don't think like, I don't believe that you have to hit rock bottom in order to clean up your act, in order to stop something. But with sobriety, like it does give you this sort of humbleness of like, I've been there, I've struggled, I'm working on myself for it. And so therefore I'm not like super judgmental of other people. I mean, that being said, if you're abusing a substance and you're lashing out to people and it's causing other people pain, you're responsible for the fucking damage you're inflicting. And that's not cool.
No.
So I will judge you for that, just in terms of like, you should not be damaging other people. But I think just recognizing that we're all like flawed and stuff. And I was talking to a friend just the other day because I was talking to Penny last night about sobriety. And because the thing about with my
what does she know about sobriety? That bitch is a drug. I'm just kidding.
Well, because like she's been super supportive of my sobriety.
No, for sure.
She's a really good friend. And like the thing about my drinking was that for the most part, like I had my messy moments, but for the most part I held my shit together overall, and I was like the fun like party drunk. But like I was talking to Penny about like because I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD and other stuff until after I was sober and seeking mental health help and other stuff. And like for years I was like doing like 2 or 3 shots of vodka before bed to like help me sleep. And I did not realize that made me an alcoholic. I was just like,
it was just,
I was like, oh, I'm just,
right?
Yeah, I was just like, I'm just having my nightcap. And I like,
she was taking her serums.
And I would like bring vodka and water bottles to work and stuff. And I would like literally, I used to.
It's wild.
Well, and I feel so dumb that I just didn't realize that made me an alcoholic.
But you don't. That's kind of the whole
right,
like being in it, like that you don't realize.
And it was funny because like before I got sober, I was like, oh, I want to not drink, but I'll be pressured to, or like this other stuff. And then once I stopped drinking, I was like, I was the friend that was pressuring everybody to drink. I was the one that was like ordering shots, like very like there really hasn't been people that have like hardcore pressured me to drink or anything.
We did like that pink wine. What? We did like that pink wine when I met you.
The rosé. Oh my god! Right, girl. You come over, and I would just be like, open your mouth, and dumping bottles of rosé into your mouth.
And I was like, no, please don't.
And like, but it's funny because like, just perspective is everything. Like, because I'd been drinking since I was like a teenager. Like, there was always my parents are amazing parents, but they trusted us, and so there was always alcohol that was like accessible to me. So like in high school, I would like fill up. I would be drinking like multiple glasses of wine a night in high school, and then I always dated older guys. So then in college and stuff, I always had like alcohol, and I was just like, I'm young, it's like fun, it's whatever. Yeah. And but yeah, it was so funny. Like it was because even what's funny about even like my rock bottom, or even the things that led me to stop drinking, those weren't, oh, I'm drinking 3 shots of vodka every night before bed. It wasn't until like a year later that I was like, oh yeah, that's like bad. Cause it was really, I was just getting into situations where I was like running my mouth, or like, I was like, okay, this is like now causing me a problem. It's not just self-destructive. I've done things that I'm lucky that I haven't, oh my god, I just pulled up that old picture of me and Scarlett. That's hilarious. That's the one I was talking about with Talkeetna Pride. I'll insert this in the video. We look terrible. But
why is Scarlett wearing that dress?
You know, it was like realizing like, okay, I'm lucky that I haven't done something worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I stopped drinking.
Something you can't go back from.
Exactly.
That's a lesson that a lot of people have to learn because they refuse to stop, and then they get in a car accident and hurt someone, or
that's the thing.
Hurt themselves, or they assault someone,
right.
Or, you know, and I mean, whatever. If you assault someone, being wasted doesn't give you a free pass. Excuse. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, if you kill them, they're still dead.
Right.
You've just traumatized somebody. It doesn't matter whether you remember it or not, or whether you want to admit it to yourself or not. You did what you did.
And like,
and that's something to like, you need to grow from.
Like, alcohol and drugs, like, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason. You know, a lot of people will do stuff while blacked out or whatever that they would not have done sober. You're still accountable to your actions.
Oh, for real.
But
I actually think it's way harder, from my experience. I think it's harder to like give up alcohol because it's so socially acceptable and it's so readily available everywhere you go.
Yeah.
That it's always a temptation there. I had a problem with meth, and that was like 13 years old. Walked into a classroom. Some girl was like, "You want to try some of this?" She didn't tell me what it was.
You want to hit that?
Yeah, you want to hit this? And I was all, mm-hmm. And I was like, it's cute, it's glamorous.
In the classroom.
Yeah, girl. I can give you I was railed on my science books. Sis.
No.
I was wrecked.
You were doing science project.
I was chemistry, sis. It's called chemistry.
Come on, Breaking Bad.
Girl, I couldn't watch that show because it was too much for me. But so like I did that, and it immediately mellowed me out. And had I known then what I know now, it totally makes sense. But at that time, ADHD wasn't really a thing either.
Right.
So I was kind of just like, I just like drugs, girl.
Right.
And my friends did it with me too. And like, they would be talk, and acting a crazy fool mess.
You chilled.
I was drawing. I was collaging. I was glittering shit.
Right.
I was making posters. Like,
right.
I was really artistic. And it just made me feel normal. And I would get home and I would do my laundry and I would refold my closet. Like, it was just, all my clothes.
Right.
So it just made me functionable. And I just loved it. And I did it all the fucking time. And it was constant. And then pretty privileged. I was fucking cute, and I knew that I could get my way from people. So I'd always be like, "Hey," and I had all these people that would give me free drugs all the time. So I was always constantly high. Weed was a mess because when I smoked weed for the first time, I like almost passed out. It was just too damn much, which is funny. That's what takes me down. But
your downfall,
girl,
you're good on meth.
I'm great on meth.
The hard drugs.
Give me the shrooms. Give me the acid. I'm here for it. The minute you give me some weed, I will pass the fuck out. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it was very hard to get off of.
Yeah.
But it isn't just it isn't in your face constantly. You know what I mean? I could choose to stay away from it and it's over. That being said, I will always feel that feeling of I will want to.
Right.
Even fog machines. Like fog machines sometimes smell like fucking smoke. Yeah. So like meth tweed. So when I'm
the one at Myrna's?
Not that one actually.
Oh, good. That's
but good. Like working in like Not Scary Farm and working in like
haunted houses
and going through them because I love to go through haunted houses. It smells like that to me sometimes and it makes me anxious.
Is it like the dry ice or is it?
I'm not sure. It just maybe one of the chemicals in it that they use, but it just makes me anxious as fuck.
Yeah. And
then I couldn't watch Breaking Bad, even though it was one of the best shows ever apparently. When they talk about colors and the blue shit and the purple shit, I had all those. Yeah. I've had every color of meth you can make and have. I've had all the qualities that you could have. I knew them by taste. I knew them by smell. I knew them by look. I knew them very well.
She was a friend of Tina.
Yeah, Tina was my best friend.
Right.
So I can't even watch that show because it would just make me sweat and make me want to do drugs. I just kind of had to cut everybody off that I knew, and I had to get to a point of when you get to this scary fucked up place, you need help. And I told myself if I ever heard voices that weren't there, or saw things that weren't there, or was mind fucked, that was a moment. And of course you're in it, so you don't think it's a problem. Like you were saying, I was taking shots, I was doing this and that. You're in this giant haze of like drug use or alcoholism that you don't really realize that this is an issue. You're just having fun.
Yeah.
And then at one point,
it's not fun.
I heard the voices.
Yeah.
And I saw the cops outside that weren't there. And I imagined somebody breaking into my house, girl. And I got into a closet with a knife. Still smoking weed. I mean, smoking shit, by the way. Still doing a whole bunch of fucking drugs. And I called a friend and I was like, there's somebody in my house. And she was like, well, call the police. And I can't call the police, I have drugs.
Yeah.
And she's like, then what are you going to do? I was like, I have a knife. I'm just going to stab that, whoever that is. And she was like, girl, go to sleep. Like, you need to go to sleep. You need help. And I think that was the night that I like started hearing things. And I was kind of like, whoa, hold on, mental moment. You're crazy.
Yeah.
You've officially crossed over to you're now not a person anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember that was the day that I said I wanted to stop. And it was hard. But the key, you said, like, not even having to hit rock bottom. I think the key to getting over any addiction is you have to actually fucking want to.
Exactly.
It can't be your mom telling you, your sister, your friend, your brother, anyone telling you that you're hurting them or that you're doing anything to them. That's nice. I hear you. I get it. But I have a problem. And this is not your problem. It's my problem. And at some point, it gets to a place where you need to stop because you actually fucking want to.
Exactly.
Rehab can't do it for you. You have to want to do it. Go to rehab.
And that's like I think that's another way that we bond because neither one of us did a program or anything. We both just stopped.
And that's really hard.
It's very hard. And I think that like...
Oh, I remember having to fucking eat and sleep. And knowing that I was going to get fat. And I was like, God, I'm not going to be hot anymore. And I just gained so much weight. I was like, God, I used to be so pretty. What happened?
Right.
I mean, I've always been beautiful. I'm just fat now. And then not anymore. Now I'm like going back to my svelte self.
I know, we're the same size.
Yeah, but I'm still fatter than
you. I'm tall though. So the way that, well, okay, sizing is bullshit. That's just
totally
a different conversation. But with, I think that like what I appreciate about you when we talk about these things is like you're very matter of fact about the matter and you're very like realistic, and with your sobriety, like you don't preach about it, you don't use that as like a reason to like judge other people. It's just like an experience that you've lived through. And I think what people might not understand about sobriety the like the amount of willpower you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes you have like it forces you to become mentally strong in a way where and like also okay one thing else that I was thinking about because we're talking about HIV stigma, we're talking about like harm reduction, is the stigma of like meth versus alcohol. It's like having a drinking problem is so normalized that you have people, I mean, like you have the whole wine mom sort of cultural archetype.
The wasp.
Right. Is that what they're called?
The wasp rich ladies that only drink vodka.
Right. And like
martinis
and like alcohol, being drunk, have one margarita, two
margarita.
Like it's so normalized. But then,
oh my God, the margaritas.
But then you
has everything there.
but then the minute you do meth, you're a fucking monster, you're a crackhead monster.
I mean, I think both of those make you end up in a hotel room getting railed by strangers. So
absolutely. I mean, no, and well, that's the thing is that like in terms of like what I meant about like you don't have to hit rock bottom was so for actually I think your story reminds me of Fergie, the artist Fergie. She said that she used to do meth and she was the meth addict user, I should say, someone who uses drugs. And there's all this also, there's all these terminologies around drugs and alcohol, and all these things are changing. So like even the term alcoholic is not really the term we use anymore. It's like substance.
Like saying getting clean.
Right.
Because they're not dirty.
Right. You're not dirty just because you use drugs or alcohol.
You're just not doing them anymore.
Right. And so I guess so I'll make more of an effort to use those terms. But when Fergie was using meth, she had an experience where she wound up in a church and she thought the FBI or somebody was coming after her and the helicopters were coming and stuff. And she told herself, if you walk out of that church and they're not there, like you're done, bitch. Like and that makes me think of your story to where, and like with my stuff, like when I meant about like you don't have to hit like rock bottom was like, so the very last time I had a drink wasn't actually really a rock bottom type situation. It was in Palm Springs on the 4th of July. And for anybody that's been to Palm Springs, that town likes its liquor. You got old men in their 70s, 80s drinking like they're 21.
Well, they got those pensions.
Period.
And looking for us young
they got the new pacemaker. They're good to go.
We should go one of these days.
Oh, please. I was at the, what is it called? Oh my God, the name of it.
The Toucans?
Not Toucans, not Tool Shed, Street Bar,
okay.
Which caters to like an older gentleman sort of clientele. And
that's where we're going.
Like most gay bars, it's a very generous pour. And so I'm young and cute. People are buying me drinks. And also the thing about me when I was drunk, I was so social. Like when I was drunk, I'm talking to everybody. I'm introducing myself to everybody. So, and that also then brings a lot of shame when you sober up. Like, oh my God,
right.
But
you look at the phone pictures and you're like hugging everybody, taking pictures of everybody, giving people kisses. You're just like, whoa.
I don't actually totally know, but I had somewhere between 8 to 12 vodka sodas in the span of only like 2 or 3 hours. And my memories are very blipped in and out of that day, as you can imagine. I remember karaokeing Ice Ice Baby and seeing the words and being like 2 lines behind, but I was so drunk that I was like, girl, I couldn't catch up though because I was so drunk. But I was sick for like 3 days on vacation, and I went down for just about 3 or 4 days, and I was sick. It was the first day I was there. I was sick the whole rest of the trip, and I was just like, bitch, I don't ever want to like feel like this again. That being said, what's funny about that was just, alcohol poisoning, a really bad hangover. There was other stuff that had happened that I just didn't even register. Like I had so many moments that could have been my rock bottom, like times that I don't remember driving home.
Yeah.
Each one of those could be a rock bottom. Each one of those I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself. Or the times where I woke up and when I was blacked out, I knew I needed to eat food and sober up. So I turn on the gas stove, and then I went to bed. And I wake up and the stove is still on, and maybe there's even a pot on it and it's like smoking. And
dude, I've like fucking, when I look back at like my life before, it's like a blur. I used to be in hotel rooms with guys from prison.
Girl, right.
How do I know these people? I don't fucking know. I don't remember how I knew them, but I was in a room doing meth with some guy that I was boning at the time. And there was all these guys giving themselves prison tattoos, and the cops raided the room.
Totally.
I had to put a hot pipe in my cheeks and bags of meth in my cheeks. And I was hiding in a shower.
Prison wallet.
Girl. And I was hiding in the shower.
That's terrifying.
When the cops came in. And then also, that happened when I was 16. No. 18. I think 18. I had pink hair because I was real fucking gay. And I was in a hotel. The same thing happened. And I had to keister everything and walk out. I had to walk by the cops with all these drugs in my asshole. And I get to the car. My friends were like, "Where's the stuff?" I was like, "In my ass." And they were like, "Oh my God." I was like, "We're not going to smoke that." I still am. Fuck you guys then. And they still did it because, girl, no one's going to tweakers will not put down the tweak.
Right.
But I was just in so many weird situations.
Well,
I would never be in.
You would not be.
I would never do that now. I wouldn't have slept with some of the people that I slept with because I was on fucking drugs, like, having a good fucking time.
And it's so funny because like, it's when you talk to people that don't have a substance problem, that's when you really realize the extent of how bad yours was. At least for me, like, because the amount of like blacked out hookups I had, the amount of like, I'm talking about like going places to meet people and I don't remember any of it. Or even scarier almost is having people over, inviting people over and not remembering it. Like literally like strangers I don't know that I invited over. I don't even know if
it's okay that Penny was here, right?
We're not gonna talk about that. That's the next episode.
It's always good to have someone here to watch your back.
It's good to have a sister watch your back. Girl, Providence, Rhode Island.
Girl, when I was a
Road sisters.
When I was a kid, my friends and I would hook up, like my fag hags and friends and I, and like my gay friends and I, we would always go with each other. And if I was the one getting pounded by whoever, my friend would like have the person get them a Happy Meal, and they would sit in the living room eating the Happy Meal nuggets while I was getting fucked. So like,
and I guess like,
and then vice versa. When she was getting her fucking puss beat up, I was like, I'm just going to eat the 2 cheeseburgers.
Which is honestly like, I feel like the Gen Z version is just sharing your location with a friend. That's safer. That's safer.
If I heard a scream, I was gonna start stabbing somebody. Like I was ready to save her.
Right.
We were stupid and funny, but we were safe.
Right. And like, and when you're in that like addict behavior, like in my mind, it's like, oh damn, I drank too much. It's not like, oh my God, I invited a stranger over to my home who I don't remember and I don't know what happened. And I don't know, like, because I think with like, so I haven't done hard I'm gonna sound like Lindsay Lohan. I haven't done hard I've only done hard drugs like maybe like 10 to 15 times.
Her face is different.
Period.
Her first one.
Right. She looks great now, though.
She does.
Success story. Glow up. Mm-hmm. We love to see it. But like all of those times, like it's funny because people want to talk about weed as a gateway drug. Girl, alcohol is a fucking gateway.
Oh, for sure.
Every time I did something, it was always when I was drunk, you know. And
it's like a coming of age thing, right? Like once you get to a certain place, it's like, let's get drunk. And it becomes like we're gonna go to clubs, we're gonna go out party, we're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet somebody. That's how you flirt with people. I don't know. It's such a tool for so many situations.
And like really the tea is like whatever your substance is, whatever your problem is, you know. Also, like I mean, weed, I think there's a lot of stigma around weed that's kind of stupid, but even if you feel like you have a weed problem, alcohol problem, if you feel like it's becoming an issue for you, that's all you need. You don't have to wait until you have a rock bottom.
Girl, even food.
Girl, seriously.
If you're fucking eating yourself into a grave, get help.
Right. Like, and oh my God, I could go on with like my greatest hit stories, but I remember.
I do think something you said though that's important to mention. You said that the best thing you ever did was get sober.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. I feel like all that stuff is a blur. All that stuff is a mess. I did so many stupid things.
Yeah.
But I got sober at 21. Yeah. And I was doing meth since I was 13. So it was like a really long chunk of time that I just didn't remember a lot of shit. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
But when I came out of that and I turned 21 and I was just like, okay, this is where I am. I'm going to get my shit together. Life literally began.
Girl,
like,
seriously.
It felt like I woke up one morning. My mom even said so. Like, my baby was back. Your voice was normal. You were a nice person again. You weren't this horrible monster of a creature that was there.
Because you're very selfish when you're, like, using.
And I'm naturally just a fucking bitch. I'm going to be real with you guys out there listening. I'm a fucking nice person. I love everyone. I think everyone's great. I try to be as supportive as I can.
She's a nice girl.
I'm a nice girl. But there is my fucking limit. And we all have a fucking limit. And I have a mouth. And I have a brain that works a million miles a second.
I think that's so. Friends is because we ever on the same limit.
Yeah. I have a limit for bullshit. And if you're going to cross the line and you're going to start some shit, you better be able to finish it. Because
if you're going to be about it.
But I will fucking end you. It is what it is. I will explode and you will suffer for it. My friends know that it's a fact and you don't ever want to make me mad because being on my bad side is not somewhere you want to be. So I know that I was an ugly person when I was a drug addict. And when I wasn't anymore, it was...
Sorry, I'm just rearranging.
No worries. But it was just a whole different person. And then I met Krusty.
Yeah.
And I truly believe, and I've said this to him multiple times, my mom says this too, it was meant to be. It was meant for him to fall into my life at that moment and make me love life. Because if it wasn't for falling in love with Krusty, and if it wasn't for those 14 years that I had with Krusty, I don't think I would have lived that long. Like, I think I would have maybe relapsed. I would have maybe fallen back into other habits. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to be normal. And when I met him, he was like, I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that shit. That's not cool with me. And we fell in love with each other so quickly, and we moved in together so quickly, and
that really,
he literally rescued me.
Oh my God, I'm interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I was gonna say that really speaks to the company you keep has such a big impact on you. And that's not to say that anybody that uses a substance is like a bad person, but for me, like, the career I was in, the people I was hanging around, alcohol was so normalized, binge drinking was so normalized that I honestly didn't, I just thought it was like part of like growing into my adulthood, like blacking out every weekend. And I almost thought
for some it is.
And it's like, it's also kind of what we're sold with like the American college experience and like other stuff is like this girl. And
I love Flip Cup.
And like, it's funny because like, I relate to you in that sense of like, I think I was, my like the worst of my alcoholism was probably like 18 to 22. And what am I now? I'm gonna turn 26 this summer. I think I stopped drinking a month after I turned 23. And so like my drinking career, I kind of peaked early. Like some people were like, how are you like alcoholic? You just turned 21. And I was like, girl, I've been drinking for a long time. But but that's also a stigma too of like, oh, but you're young. Like everyone's an alcoholic in their 20s, you know, and it's like
I was Marilyn Monroeing at like 13.
That's the thing.
I was drinking and taking pills.
It's not cute. It's not cute. And
I was popping pills like M&Ms.
I could go on with like, and we could honestly do a whole episode about drug stories and drug use. But like one other story of like my million, like I said, hindsight, it's like, oh my God, I had a lot of different rock bottoms I didn't even recognize. But one was being
someone's drag name, Rock Bottom.
Oh my God, that's such a good one.
A drag king, Rock Bottom.
If you're out there and you need a drag king name, Rock Bottom. I was in Taiwan. I was 18. I had a iPhone, but it only worked with Wi-Fi. And I was with this group of exchange students. We were running amok all over. Tainan was the city we were in. Because you can drink there at 18. So we were like, yeah, doing all the shots, all the drinks, giving ourselves alcohol poisoning, you know, every weeknight, every weekend. And there was a time when, because also, you know, when you drink alcohol, you get horny, and
girl, when I do anything, I get horny.
And it makes your decision.
Look at a fucking Vito's chip and I'm horny.
And it lowers your inhibitions. And there was a time where I was chatting with a gentleman online. And
a gentleman caller?
Right. And he was like, I'll come pick you up and we'll do our thing or whatever. I was like, okay, yeah. And I was wasted and I was in and out of blacking out. And I was literally like, you know, like when you drink that much, you're aware when you're blacking out too. You're like, oh, you're going in and out of consciousness. And I remember I left the dorms, and I got in his car. And then I was like in and out of blacking out. And I looked at this guy and I was like, oh, he's also not that attractive.
Oh, no.
And I realized, I was like, bitch, you are in a country. You are in Taiwan. Your Chinese is okay, but it's not great. And you're driving away from your campus and you don't have a phone. You have a phone that only works with internet. And I literally actually just bailed out of the car because I was so drunk that like, I think I told him,
the panic hit.
I think I told him like Dangi Sha, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because it's been a minute, but like in Chinese, it means like, wait a minute. And so he slowed the car down and I just fucking bailed out of the car. And just ran back to the campus.
But that's probably the best thing you ever did.
Girl, I'm not saying he was a dangerous man. Who knows? He might have been nice.
I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday. We were talking about that feeling in your gut. And
you gotta listen to it.
There have been many moments where like I get this like horrified feeling in my gut that something horrible is going to happen. And you just have to trust that shit. Your body knows. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, whether you believe in angels, whatever the fuck you believe in.
It's biological.
It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
And this feeling is, whether you want to call it that, call it whatever you want to call it, something is telling you to run. Fucking run. Some people don't, and they don't live to see tomorrow.
And that's the thing of like, the thing about when you're experiencing addiction and living that lifestyle, you wind up in so many more of those dangerous situations that you otherwise would not be in. And so that's what's like the way I describe it to people is like when I was experiencing all my drinking and having my issues, my life felt like this like roller coaster. And it felt like this like treadmill roller coaster where it was like very just volatile and very much like explosive things happening and like conflicts and like these dangerous experiences and like and it's like, oh ha ha ha, it's fun, I'm drunk, I'm crazy. And it's like, no bitch, you're literally, you could fucking die.
But then you look at it now and you're like, am I just boring? Right? Like when people say like, do you want to go party? You're like, no.
No, I know.
Like I'm just like, no. Like I think people like want to go somewhere after. You want to go here, you want to be up till like 6 a.m. And I'm just like, no. It is 12:30. I'm gonna drive to Taco Bell before it closes. That's like, and then I'm gonna watch Drag Race at my house.
I know. Like we get like for the listeners out there, we appreciate the invites to the afters.
I might want to go sometime.
I will. Please invite me.
Please take me with you to all these after parties.
I love being invited.
If there's naked men there,
right,
I will definitely say yes.
But most of the time we get,
if I'm in drag, don't no.
Most of the time we want to take the wig off and get some Taco Bell and watch Drag Race.
If I'm in human form, please take me with you somewhere to see some penises. If I am a woman, assume that my feet are on fire and that whatever corset I'm wearing has made me want to puke for the last 2 hours. But I look so fucking good, it's worth the pain.
And it's also like the other tea is that like the fresh out of drag look is not always. It's not like. For those of you who don't know, it's not always the look that of you wanting to like meet people and like specifically like
listen, skincare is important.
Right.
I moisturize constantly. Yeah. I have all the serums on my skin. My skin is luminous as fuck during the day. After my makeup comes off, I look like a corpse. Like my face looks stripped. There's redness. I have no eyebrows. I have pink left over that stained my face.
The pink eyeshadow gets you every time. I also do a lot of pink eyeshadow, and so then my eyes. I take my makeup off, and my eyes just look fucking inflamed. Yeah. And also, we both wear costume contacts and stuff, and I have really sensitive eyes, so. The costume contacts and the adhesives and the other stuff, my eyes are like inflamed when I'm in drag, and so then I take them off and they're just bloodshot.
Did I ever tell you? There was a time when my mom told me, let's go to the mall or something, and I said I was gonna hang out with her, and I said, cool, yeah, okay, whatever. And I had gotten home late from a show. I had all this pink makeup. I think it was purple. My favorite purple is from Sugar Pill, Poison Plum, but it stains the fuck out of your face. I don't know if it does anymore, but back then it did. And I thought I looked fine. I washed my face. I guess I woke up late and it was time to go to the mall. So, and back then I shaved my head and my eyebrows because I was performing so often and performing and traveling so much that covering my eyebrows was just
booked, blessed, and busy.
I look like Uncle Fester. And
you shaved your eyebrows and
my head. I looked sick.
My golf ball says,
girl, it was bad. And then I think I wore a hoodie and I went to the mall with her and I didn't realize that I didn't get all my makeup off. So at one point my mom goes, "You look really sick."
Damn.
And I was like, what?
And moms don't lie.
And I went to the restroom and I'm bald, no eyebrows. I'm wearing a hoodie and I have hot pink smears under my eyeballs, like where your bags would be. And I have like my lips look all chapped and there's like purple underneath whatever. I looked like, and there was pink on my cheeks. It just looked like I was very ill.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like I was dying.
Yeah.
It looked so bad.
And it's like, that's not how I'm trying to roll up to an after party.
That was the day that I grew my hair back, and I was like, you're still a person. You want to get laid. This is a joke.
That's honestly, there's a fine line of drag of like, you need to balance. Not everybody's the same. But for me, there's been times where I'm like, my day-to-day appearance is catering just to making drag easier. That's like the times when I have like had my hair grown out and I've had like acrylic nails and this other stuff, and then I'm like, sometimes that feels great, and then other times I've been like, who am I? Like, who is Robin? Because right now I'm just like half Lamia, and it's weird, and you kind of lose yourself a little bit of like, you want to be able to feel cute in and out of drag.
I had to learn to like fix myself, because I was also, like I said, shaving everything and doing everything and working so much that at one point I needed to take a break.
Yeah.
I needed to figure out who I was. I needed to figure out what I wanted to look like, because I look crazy. And now I think I have it down to where my hair's cute.
Yeah.
I have good skin.
Shout out to Plastic Surgeons of Alaska.
Oh my god, shout out to Plastic Surgeons of Alaska.
Sponsored by Sydney.
Sydney Brown. My face is tight.
Honey.
This face is like a virgin rectum.
Period.
So tight.
Yeah. We're sisters. We're the same age.
I look snatched. Yeah. But no, it's like, taking care of yourself and taking care of what you look like outside of it. You don't look all haggard and shit. And I don't shave my face now. I buzz a little bit, but I wear so much goddamn makeup.
It doesn't matter.
That you don't see it.
No.
And if that's the one thing you pick out on my face, I'll punch you in the mouth because I look so fucking good. And I work on that shit to look perfect. That I would like someone on that level to then come for me. Like being real. Like if you can look this good and you put the work in that I put in, fine, come for me.
So like it's funny because you nobody calls you a bearded queen. No. You know what I mean? You don't even see it. No. They don't even know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Until they get close up.
Then they're like, oh.
Until they give you a hug like, oh, girl, that hurt.
Yeah. I remember one day you hugged me and you were like, ow. You were like the sandpaper. I was like, leave me alone. Because I have really sensitive skin and shaving irritates my skin. So if I have like 3 days of drag,
well, that's bad. I know.
Then like especially my neck, I look like
it gets so red. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll usually I'll do like a razor maybe day one, and then do like my electric shaver the other couple days. But that's also part of why I go between phases of where I'm like shaving my chest and stuff because it irritates the skin, you like break out and other stuff. So yeah, it's a balance though, balancing in and out of drag personas, appearances.
I've fallen into this place where I'm body painting my body every time now. And I'm super tan and glossed and glittery. It's so much work. And then I get to the shower after, it's a mud bash. It's wild. There is so much paint everywhere. I'm just like,
my Kardashian says.
My God. I'm like, I got a grande up in here. Okay. But I mean, I am brown, so that's fine. But I totally that's a lot of self-tanner.
Right. So I had a few more topics, but honestly, we covered a lot in this episode. I think this was a really good inaugural episode. I think we're at a little under 2 hours or about 2 hours. So not really a smooth transition, but I think we're going to just cut it off there. And this is absolutely the first of, I hope, many more episodes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And this was really fun. We can talk forever.
We can.
I know.
And we can get more topics and more things and more community things to talk about and kind of.
So I hope that y'all out there could follow our ADHD.
Our ADHD rant.
It's so real.
Do you have ADHD?
Honestly.
Do you want to hear us rant forever? Do you want to go on tangents with us?
At this point, most of my friends are neurodivergent, and it's just
I think everyone's crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Not don't cancel me or whatever. I honestly think everyone is fucking crazy. Everyone has something. Everyone's on a spectrum in some way. Everyone has something they're going through. It just, some people function more than others to a certain degree, or some people need more help with functioning different ways. I think you mentioned dyslexia earlier. I have dyscalculia. Me and numbers are not friends.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. Everyone's a little out there, a little.
Everybody has different stuff. Some of us need medication to be sane, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Girl, I could open up a whole pharmacy. Let me tell you.
When I go to the fucking pharmacy and to re-up everything, just been whatever, and then the pharmacist looks at me and she goes, "Are you sure you get all this?" And she gets the bigger bag, and I have a million things, and I come home and I go, "It's Christmas," and I fucking rip it open and I just pour everything onto the counter so I could my little week-long thing of pills.
Right.
And my roommates are just girl.
I'm just so embarrassed because I got my bag searched by TSA, my carry-on bag, and it's just fucking rattling. It's just pills. There's so many pill boxes.
I will say, oh my God, this sounds so bad, but I don't care when I say it because I don't give a fuck. I think it's funny when I go through TSA and they go through my shit because I have breastplates in there that are bloody as fuck. And so they're there's a dead body in this purse.
Literally.
You know what I mean? And there's my spiky chokers are huge and whatever. But they've never found my drugs. And I have and I've forgotten that I even have these drugs because I don't do drugs like that ever anymore. So I think I was in Arizona once and somebody gave us a whole bunch of cocaine and I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I just put it in my phone, in the case. And I forgot that I put that there. And I went to the fucking airplane. I went to the airport. I could have been imprisoned, but no one ever found it. And then I think one time I put some in my compact. And they went through all my makeup because they were looking for whatever they were looking for. All my rhinestones. It was rhinestones. They pulled me over. They frisked me for rhinestones.
Honestly, TSA is so incompetent.
But I was just you missed that big ass bag of cocaine?
My drug mule says. Take 3 of wrapping up. We started telling more drug stories, but we decided that we'll save those for a later date or maybe premium content. So.
But it doesn't involve me and TSA. Right. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, stay tuned. Little teaser for everybody.
Okay. They called me in high school. A little teaser.
I love you so much. Thank you for doing this. I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm all fucking.
Thank you for having me.
I'm literally all sweaty and gross, but
we can talk forever. Let's do this again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us both on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, get a TikTok going. Everywhere that we're at. I'm gonna put this episode on YouTube.
Follow me on Twitter.
Oh.
I post nudes.
All right. Follow her on Twitter. And so I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I'm gonna get it up on Spotify. And...
Or is it X now? That whatever that is.
Oh yeah, X. Shout out to Elon Musk. And on that note, we'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.